Hey guys, it's D.Bowie here, and this is how Arteezy farms with Anti Mage. So even though farming in the lane might seem intuitive and super easy, there's a lot of nuance that players either don't know exist or they just don't execute. The first thing I want to point out is him having no ability skilled. He knows that his supports are harassing Nyx, but if he learns Blink to jump in there, the damage he provides at level 1 don't justify losing the lane creeps, but when Nyx gets close, he skills mana burn to harass him a little bit. The thing though is that simple aggro change made a perfect lane a lane close to crumbling. One ranged creep dies and the other one is about to die. Check how Arteezy really focuses in trying to deny that creep and even loses one less hit to do it, because if that ranged creep died he would mess with the creep equilibrium a lot. And he manages to save him, allowing the lane to go back to perfect balance. Maintaining creep equilibrium obviously is not only about farming safely, but Nyx is going to be very annoying to him when he starts farming the jungle and other areas of the map, so it's very important to deny him as much experience as possible, even if that can cost one less hit. Farming the lane is important indeed, but you should never overlook how much an early kill can boost your farming speed. Since Radiant has 2 ranged creeps, check how Arteezy doesn't finish him off, that makes him lose less hits since the enemy creep wave will push faster. Also, look how he positions himself in a way to make Nyx choose who he wants to stun instead of aligning himself with his support. Pretty neat. In the end he gets the kill and loses just one lane creep for it. When people think of farming, they are usually thinking about farming patterns, stacks, thread switching, but little do they know about harassing the offlaner. If Nyx wants, he can cripple Arteezy's mana with mana burn, or have mana to use a series of skills when someone rotates to the lane, which would completely nullify Arteezy having perfect CS if he dies. So since he already has the regen from the ring, and he also purposely skilled another skill point in mana break, something not that common, after Nyx commits the stun, his posture changes and he right clicks Nyx. Now he only has 82 mana and Arteezy can farm even safer. Eventually though, since the catapult aggroed in a weird way, the wave is going to push, and instead of deciding to pull after the lane inevitable pushes, he starts auto-attacking to have time to pull at 53. He farms the creeps in the stack, and after you start doing these things, you will value the power of power threads and PMS. You can farm these extra camps fast enough to not lose a lot of creeps from the next creep wave. When the next creep wave comes, he blinks and checks his effort in shutting down Nyx with his right clicks. He burns mana, baits 2 skills that now won't be using on him during a rotation, and in the end he only loses 1 lane creep. Identifying potential threats and playing around them is very important. Arteezy knows that Tinker has travels, and now he doesn't want to go to the creep wave since it's so close to Radiant's tower. And because of that, having treads and PMS is very important, because if you're farming the jungle, you will get very low very fast with those naked boots into Quelling Blade and straight Perseverance into Battle Fury builds. Now that a support shows up, he can go back, he pulls the next creep wave to be even safer, and his GPM keeps growing. There are times when you want to rotate with Anti Mage, especially against Tinker when you have at least level 2 mana void, but instead he prefers to keep farming. Not only that, he decides to move from the jungle to the lane. When you can make decisions based on the flow of the game, not only your GPM will increase, but your number of deaths will decrease. Everyone was bot, allowing him to farm, but most importantly, he can force the towers, making less likely that he will get ganked. Now that rotations come, he proceeds to go back to the jungle. Timing all of this with jungle spawns take a lot of practice, but it also increases your GPM by a huge margin. Same pattern, after he finished the small camp he can see 2 heroes bot, so if the creep wave that pushed, it's probably safer to farm. Another thing people don't really understand about AM is that when your teammates die in a very different area of the map, What you want to do is push towers, not hide yourself in the jungle. Not only most of the enemies won't be able to rotate since they are low on HP, you actually want to see where people are when you're playing AM. Most of the time, the ganks that get you are smokes, invis rotations, and rotations from areas of the map you don't have wards covering. When AM pushes a tower, he has vision of the tower and does vision of who TP'd there, allowing him to then rotate to his jungle safely or even TP to other lanes. Now that he farmed his entire jungle, which place is safer? That large camp or his jungle where tons of people TP'd to? Of course, it's a rhetoric question. He makes his way towards his allies, which makes him even safer, while farming everything in his way. Beautiful. When he blinks in that medium camp that was farmed, check how he stays outside of the creep respawn area and also farms it defensively, since that's an area he's not sure is safe or not, especially because the medium camp was empty. So now no one is showing the map, and when that happens, sometimes farming the enemy jungle is safer than your own. While his team positions around that area, he brings himself a salve and gets a double kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
AM is probably one of the only heroes that wants to keep farming instead of pushing towers after getting kills, unless it's later into the game or if the fight was literally right in front of the tower. And you also have your creep wave near. An important thing to have in mind is how Arteezy farms that large camp, ancients, and a small part of the Radiant jungle, and when he sees Rubik in their jungle and knows that enemies are respawning, he goes towards his jungle. That place right now is 100% safe. It also means that he is using that downtime of safety 100%. If instead he blinked toward his jungle, he would lose farming time when he knows he's safe because everyone is still respawning. As his team rotates top to take the tier 1 top, he farms the jungle towards them again, as we saw before, and now he tries to help his team in a fight.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Now, even though he killed mostly everyone and they are right in front of the tier 2, they do not push the tower. His entire team is low, Shadow Shaman wards were wasted, and pay attention to the trade he could choose. He could choose to chip this tower because he will definitely not be able to take it down since he doesn't even have lads, or he can TP bot and farm 2 creep waves, jungle, and keep increasing his net worth. This time we see him doing a different path. He farms the entire lane towards the tier 2, and then goes back to the small camp, large camp, and then to his ancients. It's basically the same thing but backwards, but he gets interrupted by a Nyx gank and just retreats. The enemy team is all missing for a long time after that Nyx play, and check how he follows up. He goes to the enemy ancients, something he rarely did this game, cuts one top wave, and then he blinks in the low ground before the tier 2s to creep skip again. With that mid tier 1 ward, he is able to spot them going towards AM, and a very important point is how he walks towards the high ground instead of directly blinking, which guarantees that he will be able to react to what is waiting him, instead of getting surprised by what is awaiting him. He can see the orange TP and he blinks. Something that definitely propels and allows this play to work is that ward. Another thing that is undervalued about AM, at least in my opinion, is how he is able to waste the enemy's farm and time. During this play, he farmed ancients, tons of creep waves, while wasting the time of mainly everyone in the enemy team, while still living unharmed and farming other places. And well, of course it prevents ganks that could happen to other allies. So when you're thinking about farming with Anti Mage, don't think about only your jungle and your creeps. Think about making the enemy lose their time, because not only they will lose farm and their time, but they won't be able to gank you, since when they all TP to their towers, you're sure that there's no way they can react in other areas of the map. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys, give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see more of Arteezy's Anti Mage breakdown, please check the link in the description. And I can't overstate how this video would never be possible without the huge help from the Pugna guys, so please show them some love. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe to it. I'm making videos like this almost every day, and I'm sure something here will spark your interest. But in this game she is against an alchemist, so as you will see during the game, not only Coop is not harassing Alk because she wants bottle fast and she's focusing on less hitting, she's also letting Alk farm and get fast level 2, allowing him to acid spray the lane, a lane that was definitely Coop favor in the level 1 to level 3 time frame.